All right, walking home from a successful day one of NFL free agency. Thanks to everybody for tuning into the 49ers Report. We were live for about 6 hours earlier reacting to all of the signings across the NFL and the two for the 49ers. And thanks to everybody for tuning into the long form videos as well. A couple of those up on the channel with some YouTube shorts. Obviously, this is a different style of content video. I do a lot of walking to and from work short form videos, and I've been doing that for years at this point, even before I was at Chat Sports, and you'll sometimes see me do videos when I'm in the car. But I do want to talk about how the 49ers may have pulled off a heist and a highway robbery with this Mike Evans signing, and also could Dre Greenlaw come back to the 49ers? First, a reminder, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for nonstop Niners coverage right here on the show. I also launched my new NFL channel called The Chase Down. Episode 3 just dropped, reacting to everything across the NFL today. I'm gonna make that video link the pinned comment of this video. So if you check that out, I'd appreciate that. And also subscribe over there, closing in on 2,000 subscribers. Just started that show on Friday night. So the official details of the Mike Evans contract are out, and this could be a highway robbery of a deal for the Niners if Mike Evans is able to stay healthy. It's a 3-year contract worth $42.4 million, $16.3 million in guaranteed money. That comes out to an average annual value of $14 million per year for Mike Evans. It is a very similar contract to what Stefon Diggs signed last year with the New England Patriots, where it's constructed in a way where it's incentive heavy for the team and player, so Mike Evans can earn a lot more than what that contract is currently showing, but it also gives flexibility to the team if they want to move on after 1 year. Patriots did that with Stefon Diggs. Niners could do that with Mike Evans. And I like this move for San Francisco for a variety of reasons. Number one, Mike Evans has been one of the most productive wide receivers in the history of football. I mean, this is a player who is the only player in NFL history to have more than 1,000 yards in 11 straight years to begin his NFL career. He is 6'5", he creates separation. His separation score was number 2 in the NFL in 2024, the last season that he was fully healthy. He can go up and get it. He has a diverse route tree. I think the Niners are very comfortable in signing Mike Evans because Brock Purdy throws with such great timing, touch accuracy, and anticipation. He gives his receivers opportunities to make plays on the football. And if you throw it in the same zip code as Mike Evans, he's going to be able to come down with it. I also think with the routes that he runs on his route tree as the X wide receiver, it complements a player like Ricky Pearsall, who's a good player, but he just needs to stay healthy. And so those are a couple of reasons off the rip why I like this move. He also demands a lot of double teams. And one of the issues that the Niners ran into last year was so many safeties came up in the box to defend the Niners ground game. And the Niners were awful running the football. Some of that, their offensive line. They need to get better with their front. Center and left guard are issues, and we'll see what happens with Trent Williams. But when you put a player like Mike Evans on the outside, the defense has to account for that, whether it's with a double team or it's a safety shielding over. So that essentially can take one player out of the box so that the Niners can be a little bit more successful in running the football, or at least have an easier time in running it. And last year, they were not an efficient running team. I thought in 2024, they weren't a great running team either. And Kyle Shanahan's offense is really predicated on finding success on the ground. And if they can't and they become one-dimensional, it's just not the best version of the 49ers offense. So another thing I like about Mike Evans, and I'll add this too, this is a very young wide receiver group for the Niners. Ricky Pearsall going into year 3, Jordan Watkins going into year 2, Jacob Cowing going into year 3, but he's barely played because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. So Mike Evans gives you an accomplished veteran and a dog who people in that room will really respect. And he can help these guys along the way for their NFL careers and teach them the way. And the Niners obviously value culture. They value guys who love football. Mike Evans is not a prima donna, bitching, complaining wide receiver who's always going to sulk and complain about touches. This dude loves football. He's genuinely a good guy. And you can see that by the responses from people who follow the Buccaneers, media-wise, or by some of their fans. I mean, they are heartbroken that it looks like Mike Evans is going to leave. Obviously, these deals can't become official until Wednesday. And I just like the fit in Kyle Shanahan's system. I think Shanahan can really get creative with finding ways to get Mike Evans the ball. I like the fit with Brock Purdy. There was a criteria that I talked about earlier when I did my breaking news reaction video of what Mike Evans was looking for his next team, according to Jeremy Fowler. He wanted a chance to win a Super Bowl. Niners are going to be top 10 in Super Bowl odds this year. I guarantee you that. He wanted a really good offensive coordinator. He wanted to play with a really good quarterback. And he wanted some touches. You could check off all those boxes. He's going to get those. And it's pretty telling that Mike Evans pinpointed Brock Purdy as a quarterback who he wanted to play with and play alongside. How often did you see Brock Purdy play so well and make ridiculous throws to Jawan Jennings, which required the skill set that Brock Purdy possesses where he's excelled? Timing, touch, accuracy, anticipation. So Purdy's going to be able to do that with Mike Evans. Of course, there are some concerns here. 32 years old, a lot of tread on the tires. Never been a huge speed guy, but I think Shanahan can scheme him open. And the separation numbers have been there because of the big body where he can box guys out like a basketball player on the low block trying to get a board. And he's got that length, that height, and that physicality to go up, get it, and rip the ball away. The hamstring issues, a little bit of a concern. It was a fun day on social media if you're into memes and GIFs, because the Mike Evans electrical substation memes and GIFs were going crazy. I saw a lot of good barbecue clips of some meat falling right off the bone, and people were saying that's Mike Evans' hamstring. He's had hamstring issues the last 2 years. The Niners haven't been able to escape the injury bug going back to 2013. So that's definitely a concern. But again, it's the contract here where it looks like the Niners are getting excellent value for Mike Evans if he can stay healthy. I mean, a 3-year deal, $42+ million at that average annual value with that guaranteed money, phenomenal deal and value for San Francisco if Evans can stay healthy. The other thing I wanted to talk about, Dre Greenlaw today was released by the Denver Broncos, and this is after Denver gave him a lot of money in free agency last free agency cycle, and it was a little bit of a risk for Denver at the time because Greenlaw was coming off the torn Achilles in the Super Bowl, tried to come back from it, re-aggravated it, and just couldn't get healthy in 2024. And then with Denver, he was a little bit banged up. This is the thing about Dre Greenlaw, though. He plays so hard, so physical, and when he's on the field, he is truly an elite linebacker. And the Niners this offseason have a need at the linebacker position alongside Fred Warner. So it would be a risk, too, to go with Dre Greenlaw, given his injury history and how he's really never been able to stay healthy. But you know he fits the scheme. You know that he can play really well alongside Fred Warner. And the Niners on defense can't continue to be soft. You know, they've got to get some menacing guys who have got some swagger, who've got some physicality, who have got some pop. And you know that Dre Greenlaw is always going to bring that to the table. And even if Dre Greenlaw were to play, let's call it 10 to 12, 13 games, is he worth it at a cheap price tag, knowing that he got some decent money from Denver if he's on the field 3/4 of the season for San Francisco, especially when it matters when the playoffs come around? When teams try to go across the middle, they know that Dre Greenlaw, number 57, is there. When they try to run the ball, they know that he could fill the hole, fill the gap, and he's going to pop you and smash you in the mouth. So Dre Greenlaw, released by Denver today, that is a player where if the price tag was right, I know I've been saying the Niners need to get younger. They need to get faster, more explosive on offense. And general, as a team, they need to get a little bit younger. But shoot, I also want the Niners to get some quality players. And Dre Greenlaw is a really quality player. And he would make this defense better, and you know what he's going to bring to the table. But with Greenlaw, with Evans, you're just hoping that that player and those players would be able to stay healthy. All right, wanted to chop it up, talk some Niners here. Niners pulling off highway robbery potentially with this Mike Evans signing. The contract details really benefit the Niners again if he can stay healthy, because if he's healthy, you know he's going to be productive. And we'll see what happens on the Dre Greenlaw front. You'd have to tread lightly there. There are definitely some risks, but interesting nonetheless. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Appreciate all of you for tuning in all day to this video here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll also be live tomorrow on the 49ers Report. More signings that are going to come for San Francisco. It's just a matter of when. See ya.